Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video we're discussing Still Life, written by Louise Penny. It's book 1 in the series to feature Chief Inspector Armand Gamache. It's also one of the 12 books on a list that were given to me to read for this year. And I enjoyed this book a lot. It's brilliant. And because it's the first book in a series, it means another series to add to my list of series I'm reading. I'm reading too many series as it is. That list keeps growing and growing. And I hope that one day that list just decreases a little bit. I need to finish some of the series I'm in the middle of now. But anyway, back to this book. This book is written so well. The mystery is brilliant, the setting's brilliant, the characters are brilliant. Everything about this book I loved. It feels like a blend between cozy mystery and general mystery. But so much of this book seemed to speak to me on a personal level. I just liked so many things about it. It just felt like I was immersed in this book so much. Also, I get a sense this author cares about this book so much, the characters, everything about it. The author seems to have great love for this story. Get that sense when you read it. A brilliant book in my view. If you've not read this series yet, start from this book and read all the way through, because I do plan to. The setting of this book is a small village called Three Pines. It's surrounded by woodland. It's a very small village with a very small cast of characters. I like everything about this village straight away. The setting, the characters, everything. Described so well, I felt like I was there. And then we meet Armand Gamache, and I like him straight away as well. Everything about him is brilliant. He feels a bit unique in this genre. He's different to other main characters in crime books. He's a bit more laid back. He's a bit more compassionate, more understanding. He sits back a lot and listens. He's silent. He uses silence to make people talk. Then he listens to what they say and he watches. He's so careful when he does that. So many times in this book, he's just sitting and observing, and I like that. And through what he sees, we get to understand the characters and the whole village and setting so much more. Also the characters. So in this book, we get character point of view. So it's written in third person, but it's third person limited. So we get to see characters in this third person view. Get to see what they think to an extent and what they're doing to an extent, but not everything. And that's good because it just keeps the doubt there, keeps the questions there. So I like the way this book is structured. So at first, the death, when the body is discovered, it looks like an accident because in this area, there's often hunters. And it looks like this person is being struck by an arrow. So it could be an accident, but then it's deemed not. So when it's deemed not to be an accident, then it becomes a classic whodunit because this community is so small. It's either an outsider, and for some reason our main character Armand doesn't think it's an outsider. He thinks it's somebody in this village. So then it's a classic whodunit because the community is very small. Because the community is small, it's almost like one of those things where you have a body found in a house and anybody in that house at the time could be a suspect. Kind of what it feels like. We have this small kind of village setting and a body is discovered, so anybody in this village could be a suspect. And there are many people to choose from. We meet in detail many characters in this village. They all have pasts. Sometimes those pasts have secrets. We learn about those secrets as this book goes on. The characters are so rich, developed so well. They all have little things they're hiding. There's questions about them. Some of them just wear masks. They pretend to be somebody else sometimes. There's all these things playing underneath the village. What we see on the surface, there's all these things playing underneath. And we learn about some of that as this book progresses. But as we're discovering more about the crime and about the people in this community, it's all about family. It's all about these connections with people. It's all about what you think family should be or what it is. That's what plays out in this story. It almost feels like the people who live and move to this village, they're a bit lost until they get there. Then they find their tribe, they find their community and family. So all those ties play out. But are all those family ties, those community ties, those personal ties, are they based on truth or lies? Sometimes it could be either way. That's interesting how it plays out in this book because it's so small, everything feels more personal. I just love the way that all plays out in this story. Louise Penny as an author is so clever in the way she constructs that because you don't learn everything about a character straight away. You learn little things as you go on, and sometimes you learn different things, and what you thought you knew beforehand, you find out wasn't true after all, because you find out that character was lying about something, they're hiding something. Very clever how that's done, because each time that happens, it's a new twist and turn. It's a new kind of angle, a new branch on this mystery. And sometimes those branches go nowhere, but sometimes they develop a life of their own and they continue on. So I like the way that whole thing is structured in this book and makes for such an interesting read, a brilliant read in my view. I like the title of the book, Still Life. It seems like a simple title, but it's really not. There are two things about this book that kind of relate to that title. So part of this book is about art. The murder takes place after the discussion about paintings to go to a local art show. And it seems like the murder may be tied to that for some reason. So we have still life because, painting's still life. It makes sense. Then also it's about life in this village. Life in this village also feels sleepy. It feels on the surface that people are there, they're not doing much. Not much goes on in this village. But underneath, there's questions. Underneath, it makes you think, it makes you wonder. That's like still life paintings in a way, isn't it? You see a painting and you see there's something on the surface that's there for a moment in time. But underneath, you wonder what's happening. What was the artist thinking? What's around that setting? What don't you see? Is this still life image part of a bigger picture? That's all the things that play on in this book. So that title is very interesting because it means so many different things when you read this story. Armand Gamache, our main character and main investigator in this book. He's brilliant. I don't know if I need to say anything else about this character other than he's brilliant. Everything about him, his construction, the way he talks, the way he reacts to things, the way he carries himself in this book is just written so well. He feels real. He feels genuine. It is so different to other main characters I see in this genre. He's more laid back. He's more compassionate. He's more interested in how people work, their thoughts, their feelings. He's more interested in watching and observing, in making people talk and explain themselves more. It seems he's more interested in kind of just real life and observing that real life, about kind of everyday life, maybe boring life if you think of it that way. He's just interested in the real events, the everyday events of people when he's investigating. And I like that in the character because it makes everything feel so real in this book and makes him feel like a real person. Ruth is one of the residents who lives in Three Pines. I like her character. She's a close friend to the victim. She's cantankerous. She says things sometimes out of anger before thinking, but she understands that about herself, so she's a self-aware character. That's interesting in this book. All the characters are so self-aware. They know how people see them, and they know how to think about themselves. They know their own flaws. They know their own strengths and weaknesses. That's really good in this book, and Ruth is an example of that. So many times she mentions to our main character and other characters about her own behaviour and how she speaks to people. She talks about that all the time and how people perceive that. But she understands it. She thinks people accept it when they know who she is. But underneath it all, she's very caring about people. She understands people a lot. That comes out in this book a lot, I think. I like this character very much in this book. Claire is another character who lives in Three Pines, and I like her character a lot in this book. Through her, we have a bit of doubt because she discovers the body. And in many mysteries, the person who discovers the body is often a suspect. And it happens for a time in this book. I like her a lot. She's very complex. Another character is very self-aware. Another character where we get to see her life. We don't get to understand just how she links to the crime and the victim. We get to understand her life in general. How she thinks about her life, how she thinks about herself, and where she fits in the world. Get all that in this book about that character. And I like that because it makes her complete and makes her complex, makes her real. I love her character so much. This book is just brilliant. I could go on and on about how much I like this book. Everything about it, setting, characters, the mystery, the way connection and family, community plays out as themes in this book as well. Just everything about this book is brilliant. I rate it a 5 out of 5. I can't wait to read more in this series. I want to read the whole series. I don't know why I've not read this book before, why I've not heard about this book before, because it just feels like this book just connects with me so much. It's a brilliant book. I'm so glad this book was on the list of 12 books for me to read this year, and 12 books I didn't choose myself to read this year. But this book is brilliant, and it makes me wonder how many other books on that list also be just as good. On my channel, I review many mysteries. If you enjoy mysteries, check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to a video for another book I'm sure you'll enjoy.